Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marisa Kazem, and today I'm going to be showing you how I set up February in my bullet journal. So for those of you who saw my January setup, you'll know that I am planning on doing a Disney princess theme for every month of this year because there are 12 official Disney princesses, and for the month of February I decided to go with Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Now if you're not familiar with my previous video, then I'm just going to quickly tell you, basically, my intent with these setups is not to draw the main characters specifically, but focus on scenery and elements from the films, because I don't want to draw Belle on every single page. Like, that's just too much. I just wanted to focus on the whole vibe of the movie, and I basically want to make my setups feel as if you are in the princess's world. So that's what I'm doing here, and for my cover page I decided to start with the stained glass window that we see at the very end of the movie. At the end of the movie we only saw this window like for 30 seconds I think, but it is so beautiful. I used to have this as my screensaver, and it's just such a gorgeous image, and I love how it includes Belle, the Beast, and it has the characters as humans in the background as well. This was quite challenging to draw, I'm not gonna lie. I did not use transfer paper, I didn't trace it, I freehanded everything, and it took me over a day to sketch this. It was a lot of work, but I definitely think it was worth it. It came out exactly as I pictured it. This is just what I wanted it to look like, and it's so beautiful and so romantic, and I just love how it looks. So getting into the painting, first of all, that rose was meant to be pink, but I am very new with watercolor. I'm not very familiar with it, and I was really struggling to get the right pink shade that I wanted. Throughout this entire setup, all of my pinks ended up being darker than what I wanted them to be, because the reds and the pinks and the purples in my palette look quite similar, and it wasn't until later on that I really learned how to do the pink. But of course, the first piece of paint to touch this page and touch this whole setup was the rose that was meant to be pink. But it's fine, a red rose is still beautiful, but because the rose itself is enchanted, it's supposed to glow pink, but it's fine. I can live with it because the rest of this stained glass window turned out beautiful, and I loved it. It was so vibrant with all the colors, and yeah, I just really liked it. By the way, I'm just going to warn you guys right now, this whole setup is very paint heavy. This painting right here is covering majority of the page, and it is not the biggest painting in this entire setup. There is one more painting that is absolutely massive, and you guys are gonna think I'm crazy when you see that painting, but I just wanted to paint it, so be prepared for a lot of heavy painting. So I quickly just want to talk about why I decided to go with Beauty and the Beast, or Belle, for my February theme. I went with it for two reasons. The first reason is because my boyfriend's birthday is in February, and he loved Beauty and the Beast. He's not like the biggest Disney fan, especially not the biggest Disney princess fan, but he always loved Beauty and the Beast. He always likes to make references and say that, you know, he's the Beast and I'm Belle. So since it was his birthday month, I thought Belle would be the perfect one to do. And also, personally, I just think Beauty and the Beast is the most romantic Disney princess story out of all the Disney princesses. I know a lot of people don't think it's that romantic, and that, you know, she was a prisoner and she just fell in love with her capturer. I know it's kind of weird, but honestly, if you've seen the second movie, which is Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas, you'll actually see that she spent Christmas there, and she really spent a lot of time with him and actually fell in love with him. And I just find that so romantic compared to a lot of other Disney prince and princess stories. I think this one, like, they truly got to know each other and truly fell in love. And I just love how there are roses all throughout the movie. Like, I love roses. I'm such a romantic type of person, and this one for me just had to be for Valentine's Day. Also, my quote for this month is, "Embrace uncertainty. Some of the most beautiful chapters in our lives won't have a title until much later." And I decided to pick that for this month because, one, I just really love that quote in general. It's just very beautiful, especially because right now in my life I'm in a very uncertain place about the future and I need something comforting like that. But also, Belle is really into reading, and this literally says that, chapters in our lives don't have a title yet. And I kind of think that's the case with Beauty and the Beast, because throughout the movie, it's not Beauty and the Beast. She's, a prisoner, she's terrified, and then everything turns around, and they're not really Beauty and the Beast until the very end. So I thought the quote was very fitting. So this is my calendar and monthly goal spread, and I made it slightly different to how I normally do. For my monthly goals, I normally have a personal, professional, and creative section, but this month I decided to cut out the creative section because I have very specific creative things that I need to do this month, and I didn't see the point in writing them down because I already know them. So that's why I made my columns a little smaller, and I'm going to draw more. I drew the rose on the side. And if you're wondering what this is, by the way, if you're not that familiar with the movie, this is a portrait of the Beast when he's human, and Belle, walks into the West Wing and she sees this painting and she seems very confused, and I think she knows that that's him, or possibly him. But this actual photo of the painting I took from the beginning of the movie. They show us this painting twice. The first time is when the Beast actually rips it in the beginning, and then the second time is when Belle goes in to see it. And I never noticed this, but they are two completely different reference photos. The painting of him and the tears look so different in each one. Even the frame looks different. I can't believe I never noticed it. But I decided to draw the one from the beginning of the movie because it was a little bit more simple, and I just added some extra scratches on the top because, let me tell you, drawing a face that small and trying to paint a face in watercolors, which I have never done before, was not easy. So I thought if I cover his face with more tears in the painting, then there's less effort that I have to put in the painting. So that's why I did that. And around it is torn up curtains. He had curtains specifically draping over that painting. And then elsewhere in his bedroom is where the rose is. And right next to the rose, we see some torn white fabric, but it's glowing pink and purple because it's all shadowy and it's, there's light from the rose reflecting on it. So that's what this bit of curtain is, or fabric, or sheets. I don't really know what it is, but that was in the movie too. And so this spread is basically supposed to feel like you are in the Beast's bedroom. And I just loved his bedroom. It was such an amazing representation of his character. That bedroom literally explained the Beast's personality, and I loved it. So that's why I really wanted to create it, and I love how it turned out. It was very eerie, but also like a magical Disney movie. So onto my next spread is my positivity log and mood tracker. And I was very, very tempted to paint the entire ballroom for this spread, but the reason I didn't is because for my positivity log, I need room to write every day, and I did not want to do the ballroom on just a singular page because it's a very wide image. So I decided to just draw the chandelier and have that as my mood tracker. The chandelier that I drew is very loosely based off of the movie. Obviously, it doesn't fit exactly because I had to fit 28 days, and I'm pretty sure the chandelier itself had over 100 candles on it. And you can't really see the details very well, so I kind of just made up my own little swirls and curls with the candle, the candle holder itself. So it's something very simple, but this is probably one of the quickest drawings in this setup, and the page is a lot more bare. but it was nice. I mean, throughout this setup, some pages are very painting heavy and some of them are very minimal, and this is one of my minimal spreads. Now I hope you guys are ready for the most extreme and over-the-top spread you've ever seen. This is my habit tracker and weight tracker, and I decided to do the Beast's library that he gives to Belle. And I could not figure out how to create this scene in a smaller way. Like, I could have just drawn some books in the corner of each page, but that wouldn't have given me the vibe of the library. That would have just given me the vibe of books, and that's not what I wanted to go for. I wanted to go for the library that he specifically gave her. Also because I thought it was one of the most romantic things in the movie. I loved that he gave her that library. It was so sweet and so meaningful, and I just loved the library itself. Like, I'm not a big fan of the color turquoise, but the way that library looked was just gorgeous. So I decided to recreate it, and I still managed to fit all of my habit trackers and my weight tracker. I just made them smaller than I normally would. I'm gonna tell you guys, this spread took me 7 hours to paint, and maybe 6 hours to paint, 1 hour to outline and pen, because there was a lot of pen work. But this took me such a long time, but I don't care. I know it's over the top, but I love it. It's probably my favorite spread out of this entire setup. I love looking at it. It's so gorgeous to me, and I am so excited to use this month. So just beware, this is a lot of painting, a lot of effort. I don't expect anyone to recreate this. This was kind of just a spread for me, because when I think of that movie, I can't not think of the library. Even when I was 13 years old, I remember I had an English project where we had to make like a poster board, and I literally decided to do the Beast's library. Obviously I was 13 and I did not draw a lot of the books. It was just a very simple drawing, but I recreated it when I was 13 years old, and now I'm 24, and I decided, why not? Let's recreate it again, because it's just so beautiful. And I love the colors, I love the vibe, and the colors just completely livened up this spread, because when I first went in with the pen around all the books, I was thinking, oh my god, this page looks so heavy and so dense, but the colors completely lightened up the entire setup. Also, so the reference picture of this in the movie, we actually see it from much further away, and you see the walls on the left and the right, and you see the spiral staircases. The reason I decided not to include that is because I just wouldn't be able to make it look nice with my actual habit tracker and weight tracker. So what I decided to do was add an extra column of books between the central fireplace and the windows, because there are 4 columns that I drew, but there's actually meant to be 3. But I added a 4th one so that there would be more room, and that way I'd have more of a book background for my charts. And yeah, that way I didn't have to draw the spiral staircase. Although I love the spiral staircase, that really makes me think of the library, but I just couldn't think of a way to incorporate it well, and so I just decided to focus on the back wall of the library that we mainly see. Also, in the center, near the bottom, I don't know if you guys can fully know what I'm talking about, but if you see that dark blue rectangle and with the gold frame around it, that is a painting that the Beast has either of his own castle or the main Disney castle. They snuck that into the movie, and that is the smallest painting I have ever done. It's a painting within a painting, and I didn't realize I was gonna have to do that because I've never really focused on the library details so much, but I tried to for this spread, and that is the smallest painting I've ever done, and I thought it was kind of funny. Painting the background color of those shelves in that navy blue was the most exhausting thing I've ever done art-wise. That was straining on my hand and my eyes. It was very exhausting. Painting the books themselves wasn't too bad, but that was pretty bad. But you know what? It was a lot of pain to get this spread done, but I loved it. Also in the movie, the books were not different heights. All of the books were drawn at the same height, and some of them were slanted, and there were some missing books. And I literally did not notice that right until I was about to paint the books. So my books look a little bit different, but I tried to keep it with the same colors that the books were in the movie. And for me, this fully gives me the vibe of the library from the movie. I don't know if it does for you guys, because they did show a lot of different angles, and again, they only showed us this angle for maybe like 30 seconds, but I just love it. It gives me the vibe of the movie. It's a beautiful turquoise color, and it is still a functional spread for me. I know it looks ridiculous, but I can track my weight perfectly there, and I can fill in my habit tracker perfectly. It's just smaller than I would normally make it because it's not dot grid spacing, it's smaller, but I can still fit everything in and it works for me, and I just thought it looks so gorgeous. So this next spread is my finances page and my brain dump. For last month, I painted Snow White's castle on the brain dump, so I decided to do the Beast's castle on this brain dump. I might paint each princess's castle on the brain dump for every month, but I also might not, because some princesses like Pocahontas and Moana, they don't have a castle, so I don't know what I would do for theirs. But I initially loved the sketch of this castle, but I ended up not liking it at the end, like the way I'd painted it. I used the reference image of a Thomas Kinkade painting. He does a lot of, oh, that's my cat, she came to say hi and I thought I'd include it. Thomas Kinkade created tons of Disney paintings, and they are very detailed, and he did a painting of the Beast, like Beauty and the Beast. They're sat on the balcony, and in the background you can see the castle. So I decided to use that reference image for the castle, but he painted the castle with a lot of greenery around it. But in the very beginning of the movie, they show us a little bit of greenery, but the rest of the movie, the castle's covered in a lot of snow. There's snow outside, so I kind of wish I had painted this with a snowy landscape instead of a green landscape, but it doesn't matter. To me, the castle still reminds me of the Beast's castle. It looks a lot like it, at least to me in my eyes, and I just love the drawing. It's gorgeous, but I just wasn't a big fan of the greenery. Also, in the very bottom corner, I tried to recreate the little river that Gaston falls into, because that is how it was painted in the picture. It was on the side over there, but it looks kind of weird. So that castle painting is probably my least favorite out of all of my paintings, but it's okay. I still like how it looks overall. So this is my productivity log, and this is where basically every day of the month I track what I do in my hours, including my sleep. And I do this every month. I just love being able to see how my sleep is compared to when I'm productive and when I'm not, and when I'm exercising and whatnot. So that's what this spread is. And I decided to draw Lumiere and Cogsworth, but without their faces, because like I said, I don't really specifically want to draw the characters. I don't want there to be focus on characters' faces in these setups. I just want to draw the elements, and I didn't see the point in drawing a random clock and a random candle that don't look like the ones in the movie. So I basically drew them, but without their faces, and I really like how it turned out. I thought it was really cute. So now I'm on to my weekly setups, and I'm only going to show you guys how I set up my first weekly, and then the rest of the weeklies I'm just going to show you the paintings themselves. But basically for each weekly I'm doing this Dutch door layout, and for half of the weeklies I cut Dutch doors, and the other half I added Dutch doors with washi tape. If you're curious why I'm doing that, I explain it at the end of one of my other videos on my bullet journal flip through. So if you want to see that video and see why I'm taping pages in, that one will explain it. But for this spread, I decided to kind of recreate the scene of the Be Our Guest song. So first of all, this is the sloppiest drawing in my entire setup. I don't even know if it's champagne or wine. In the movie, there's like pink bubbly liquid shooting out of these bottles, and I just really liked the color scheme, I liked how it looked. And then in the other painting next to it, I did the cakes and items that were presented to Belle. I even drew the gray stuff, you know, when Lumiere says, try the gray stuff, it's delicious. I decided to paint that. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of recreate the vibe of Be Our Guest. That weird thing on the very end is the napkins that were dancing. I know it's kind of random. In the movie it was very yellow, so that's why I painted it like that. And there was a cake and some cupcakes that were right in front of her. And I just wanted to recreate the vibe of that song, and I really liked how those drawings turned out. And then for this weekly, like I said, I already set everything up off camera, and this is a very weird scene that I painted, but I decided to paint the master's chair with the fireplace directly opposite the chair. And the reason I decided to do this is because this scene actually comes up like 3 times in the movie. Like, we see them sat by this fireplace many times, and I just loved the vibe of it. I wanted to give more of a vibe to the beast as well in this setup, and this was very impactful of that. Also, that is Belle's pink coat or cape that is hanging on the coat rack, because right after they were outside playing in the snow, they come in and they go to where his chair is and they sit on the floor and they read together, and I thought that was really romantic, so that's why I really wanted to include this fireplace in the setup. And I decided to just draw the master's chair on the other side because there was no way I could fit them both next to each other because I don't have enough room. But yeah, that was the intent with this spread. Also, I forgot to mention this earlier, but I am really sorry at how late I am at posting this video. Tomorrow is literally February, and I meant to post this much sooner. Next month, I promise I'm gonna try my best to post that video sooner. I've already picked out which princess I'm going to be doing for March, so if you are interested, please subscribe and like this video and hit the bell notification so that you'll be notified when I upload that video too. So for this weekly, I decided to do the magic mirror and the rose dying, because we see the magic mirror 3 times throughout the movie, but one of the most memorable ones to me was near the end when basically Belle is showing everyone in the village that the beast is real, and then they go to the castle and then she finds him, and then we literally see 1 petal left on the rose. And then she says, "I love you," and the petal falls. So I really wanted to have them both on the same page, and I loved the painting of the mirror. It came out exactly how I wanted it to. And for this weekly, I decided to draw Mrs. Potts and Chip, but again without their faces. And to make it look a little bit more generic, I added some of the other things that we see. There's the sugar jar and the milk pourer and then the plates. Those are very iconic in the movie, and I thought having them all on the same spread would look really cute. And yeah, I just wanted to create the vibe again of the movie, but without specifically drawing faces. So now we are finally moving on to the last spread of this setup. This is my monthly check-in and monthly review page. Basically, the check-in, I check in twice a month, in the middle of the month and the end of the month, and then my monthly review is basically some questions that I have for myself that I like to fill out. And I decided to just go with some simple roses and a quote in the corner that says, "See the beauty in life," since this is Beauty and the Beast theme. Also, in my previous setup on this page, I painted just some simple doves because doves really remind me of Snow White. And I thought for this page, I would just do simple roses. So I think I'm going to continue this in all of my princess setups, just do like a simple drawing on these pages to represent the princess at the end of each setup. So now we are at the end at the final flip through. If you guys are still here and still watching, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys like this series. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this setup. What was your favorite setup, favorite spread and least favorite spread? And let me know if you think my library spread is absolutely ridiculous or if you think it looks cool, because I genuinely want to know what other people think. Anyway, I'm so grateful that you guys are all here watching this video, and I really appreciate all the support, and I will see you guys in the next one.